Hi everyone. I hope we've started. That was supposed to be a 5-second countdown. My name's Bruce Curtis and welcome. I would say welcome to the University of Waikato, but it actually is welcome to my kitchen because I'm working from home today. How are you? I don't know how many are out there. Please feel free to send me chats and ask me questions at any stage you like. Otherwise, this might be the world's shortest presentation. I do have some cats wandering around the kitchen for entertainment value, but they've disappeared just when I needed them. So I have a very, very simple little PowerPoint. It's a 2-page PowerPoint. I think it's the 5th PowerPoint I've ever used in about 20 years. I don't generally use them, you young people with your modern technologies. Anyway, my role is, I see I've got 10 participants. Hello, everybody. My role as head of school is that I have responsibility for the programs that are within our school, the 7 main programs, and I think we have, each program can be thought of as having a major, which means you get your degree in that subject or that major, and I think we have about 7 minors, so we're a very, very diverse organisation or entity. I have 41 staff, academic staff, working in the School of Social Sciences, and we are mainly in the IJK block. If you want to come on campus and visit us, though, we might find out at 5:30 this evening that we won't be visiting anybody for a long while, or 3 or 4 weeks anyway. I've got a little document here that I'm going to try and share with you. All goes well. Cool. It was very exciting. And that's not me. Nice furniture though. I think do you think she has any tea or coffee in that mug, or is it just an empty mug? Anyway, this is the beginning of my slideshow, which I think has 3 clicks relating to it. So brace yourself. Feel free to ask me a question at any stage. So, welcome to the School of Social Sciences. Kia ora. The first thing we should talk about is, and this becomes quite confusing to lots of people, is that the School of Social Sciences is really made up by the subjects or the majors that you can major in or that you can take, from anthropology through to social work, if we want to go from A to Z. Just like the School of Arts is a grouping made up of things ranging from media to music to performance and those sorts of things. You can do different degrees across the different schools, and we have some degrees in common. So the School of Social Sciences and the School of Arts, they have students who are majoring in the Bachelor of Arts, and they have students majoring in the Bachelor of Social Sciences, and we have students majoring in the Bachelor of Arts and majoring in the Bachelor of Social Sciences. The difference being what topics or majors or programs they are taking to finish their degrees. We have 4 main degrees at this university that you can take in subjects or majors or programs in the School of Social Sciences. They're the Bachelor of Arts, the BA, which is probably the most widely known undergraduate degree that in the world, probably, certainly in Australia and New Zealand and Britain. So the Bachelor of Arts, you can only do that on the Hamilton campus as it currently stands. You can only do the Bachelor of Arts on the Hamilton campus in subjects in the School of Social Sciences. And we also have the Bachelor of Social Sciences, which you can take in the School of Social Sciences, and you can do that either at Hamilton or in Tauranga. So that's available at both campuses. That's the most popular degree amongst students who are enrolled in programs at the Bachelor of Social Sciences. And in fact, the Bachelor of Social Sciences is a degree that only the University of Waikato offers. It's one of the points of difference between us and the other universities in New Zealand, and it's a very, very successful degree. It's the degree that we are probably most closely aligned with, though the fact that you've got it isn't just us that teach the Bachelor of Social Sciences. The Faculty of Maori and Indigenous Studies also offer a Bachelor of Social Sciences, and I think the School of Education also does. So they're 2 3-year degrees, and you'd come from there from high school with good grades. This is the main way. You can come in other ways. I came in another way to do my first degree. I came in as a slightly older student with not so good grades. But you can come in with and start from high school, and it would take you 3 years of full-time study to complete that degree, assuming you passed all your papers each year. And you would do each trimester 4 papers. That would be 8 papers a year. The other 2 degrees that we have are associated with social work and the Bachelor of Environment and Planning, and they are what we call accredited degrees. They take 4 years to do, and those degrees are offered not just by the University of Waikato, but they're accredited by professional organisations. For the Bachelor of Environment and Planning, that's the Association of Environment and Planners, and for the Environmental Planners, and for the Bachelor of Social Work, it is for the Social Work Registration Board, gives us recognition. So those are degrees that are professional degrees, and if you pass this degree, you can call yourself a environmental planner, or you can call yourself a Bachelor of Social Work. They're both very popular programs. They're both quite prestigious programs, and whereas the Bachelor of Arts and the Bachelor of Social Sciences are sort of open degrees, there can be wait lists and ranking associated to get into the 2 accredited programs. There's a Q&A thing there. I'm going to see what that says to me. What's the requirements for a Master's in Social Science and Economics for international students? I'll come back to that in a moment. Where was I here? I will return to that question. The School of Social Sciences has 9 programs all up. I thought we were 7, I can't add. Anthropology, environmental planning, geography, history, philosophy, political science, social policy, social work, and sociology. And 2 of those programs are teaching 4-year accredited papers. That's environmental planning and social work. I am by training a sociologist, that one down the bottom there. And I completed my studies at the University of Canterbury and then worked for 20 years at the University of Auckland before coming down here, up here, down here, depending on which way you have the map, to be the head of school. We have quite a diverse range of programs available to us. We cover the entire range of the social sciences. There are some sort of interesting things about the way in which our School of Social Sciences is formed, because if you look, you'll see that history and philosophy are located here in the School of Social Sciences and not in the School of Arts, whereas the School of Arts has a program around screen and media. And there are also some quite interesting things about the way in which our degree structures and our study is organised here. The philosophy program in the School of Social Sciences is actually the largest program that we have and has the most staff and the most students enrolled in it, which might be a bit counterintuitive to you. The interesting thing about philosophy at the School of Social Science here at the University of Waikato is that they really do empirical and experimental sort of research. So they're quite unusual in the way in which they constitute themselves. Q&A. Okay. I'll deal with question 2. What about psychology? I'm afraid you've come to the wrong program. There is a separate school of psychology. So in this division, so the schools belong to a division, there are 3 schools: the School of Social Sciences, the School of Arts, and the School of Psychology. And there's also a research centre which is there for the study of demographics. So no, I don't do psychology. Vincent Reid is the chair of psychology, and I think he either had the session before me, in which case you've missed him, or the session after me, in which you've got that to come look forward to. The first question I had, which I said I'd come back to, is what are the requirements for Masters in Social Science and Economics for international students? It's a really specific question, and I think probably you would be better off approaching somebody in our student centre for that. We don't have economics as one of our programs. That's in the School of Management primarily. So the two questions so far have been about economics and psychology. Does anybody have any other questions? I can see who's here. You could tell me where you're all from. You could send me in your comments and tell me where you're viewing me from, and hopefully that you're hearing me. Auckland, well done. What's it like under lockdown? Whereabouts in Auckland? And from Melbourne, oh crikey, they're under lockdown as well. That must be a bit difficult. And Brazil, oh wow, how exciting. World's best football team after New Zealand, of course. So we have quite a few international students here. So it might be worth talking about people trying to study as international students here in New Zealand. We do have the coronavirus thing going on at the moment, and it's pretty much impossible for a non-New Zealand resident or returning citizen to get into New Zealand at the moment. We're giving priority to that. The border is largely closed, but there's been lots of talk in New Zealand, as I'm sure there has been across the whole of the world, about ways in which we could create safe spaces for students to start travelling again. This university, I think the University of Waikato, has had the best response to the lockdown in New Zealand. We went online, as all the universities did in New Zealand, in the first lockdown back in March, but we really embraced that. And so this trimester, or this semester, depending on which terminology you use, we're making all of our courses still available online, so that if on Monday we discover that the university has to go into online teaching again because it's been closed down, I think our university is going to be in the best position to be able to deal with that, which, I mean, we've been very cautious. Our Vice-Chancellor has emphasised the safety of our students, our staff and our community really above everything else in the university, and I think we probably have been a little bit more cautious than other universities, but I think that we're in a pretty good position as a result of that. So that's sort of like, we anticipated the worst and it may have happened, or not the worst, but we anticipated more problems and it may have happened. Who else do I have? Yes, you can do MJ Top. Yes, you can do Maori and Indigenous Studies, Bachelor of Social Science through them. But of course, we're the School of Social Sciences. So I'm not sure when their session's on, but they have a special status. We call them FMIS, the Faculty for Maori and Indigenous Studies. They're the only faculty left, really. Everybody else became either a school, and those schools merged into divisions. But because the treaty, because of our treaty commitments, really, and the fact that the University of Waikato has a particularly close relationship with the tangata whenua here, I think that reflects that the Maori and Indigenous Studies here at Waikato have retained a sort of a more autonomous position. They are the building next door to us, if you ever come to visit. Again, they've got some tremendously good staff, as we have. So actually, so far, all the questions I know have come from places that are under lockdown. Hong Kong is under lockdown, Auckland's under lockdown, East Auckland's under lockdown, and Melbourne's under lockdown. We're not under lockdown yet, but we may be at 5:30. is studying law as a major and political science minor a good combination? Yes, I would say to you pretty much that it's always worth your while to make that combination, either a double major if it's possible for you to do, or a double minor. You may have to spend a little bit more time studying. I think the major minor, you just have to have a more focused approach, and the workload might be slightly harder, heavier or more intensive, but I would say you get more bang for the buck, and that's a really interesting combination actually. And I think that would be quite good. The political law here has just got a brand new head of school, and she's doing a lot around revitalising that school. Not that it needed revitalising. I think it's ranked 1 or 2 in terms of the best law schools in New Zealand. I would recommend that combination to you. It's funny, haven't got a question yet about doing a major in the School of Social Sciences. But that's all right, I don't mind. I'm just checking through the other people that have chatted to me. If somebody could say whether they're hearing all me, that would be awesome. Otherwise, it would be a bit depressing to be talking to nobody. But I assume people are sending questions, so that is probably a good sign. Yes. If you can hear me, say hi. If you can't hear me, don't say hi. Hi. Thank you very much. So just like every other university in New Zealand, and I think most in the world, we're a little bit up in the air, unclear about what we're going to be doing in terms of international students next year. I think things can turn around very quickly, but as I've said, this year I took, there were 20 students in the People's Republic of China that couldn't get to New Zealand. They'd enrolled in the course, and then they'd enrolled in courses at Waikato in the School of Social Sciences, and they just physically couldn't get here. The border closed before they could make it out here. So new technologies, that's why I'm so awesome with the PowerPoint. But that was really successful, and we've had some pretty good feedback about that online stuff. And really, I'd say that it's been a game changer, not just for this university, but probably for most universities in New Zealand, in terms of how staff now are going to be delivering their papers. I think increasingly we're going to see the use of more and more resources that are digital resources, even if they're not for an online course, if you get what I mean. I think it's actually going to enrich that. It's been sort of forced upon us a little bit, but I think it's had some pretty good results. So it must be quite difficult for you to be planning what you want to do next year, but I do want to be encouraging to you and say that I think there are going to be opportunities opening up. There are vaccines on the way for this coronavirus, and who knows, in 6 months or 8 months or 10 months time, this may be a thing of the past. Oh, my cat's come back. What did I just stop then? I didn't mean to. Yeah, I'll give you some free entertainment value. Which is my grumpy cat. Are there any more questions? The Master of Social Science. the Master of Social, sorry, just a question about, I have not spoken to about the Master of Social Science. I can't talk too much about the Master of Social Science and Economics because that's not a subject that we offer. But the Master of Social Science is the extension, if you like, what comes after the Bachelor of Social Science. So degrees are divided up into undergraduate degrees and graduate degrees, and the Master of Social Science is a graduate degree. I think you can do it in a number of different ways. You can do it as a 180 point paper, which means it takes 3 semesters or 18 months to do it, or you can do it as a 2-year option, or you can do it after you've done a 4th year of study as a 1-year 5th year of study. So there's 3 different ways that you can do it. So it can either be your 5th year of study or your 4th in your 5th year of study, depending on how you've enrolled in it. It depends. Now, to get into any sort of graduate paper, you need to have a good, that's my cat's ear up there, you need to have a good grade point average, and you also need to have that grade point average relating to the topic that you're doing in. So if you majored in history, they probably wouldn't let you go. Oh, we need to end now. Gosh, didn't time fly? Okay, so I'm very happy, even though some of you are asking queries that aren't directly, I can't directly respond to because a little bit outside my expertise. If you want to email me at just bcurtis, B-C-U-R-T-I-S, B-C-U-R-T-I-S, at Waikato, waikato.ac.nz. If you just send me an email, I'll respond to those in the next couple of days, just between you and I, okay? Thank you very much. It's been really nice talking to you.